Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Scottaboo. He is in. Touchdown.
No balls and a strike. Hess breaks his back. Kirkring gotta find it. Throws to the plate. Oh my goodness! He throws it away, and the Dodgers have won. The Dodgers win, and they are moving on to the NLCS. This game ends in the cruelest way for the Phillies. He couldn't field it cleanly, and then the panic set in.
3 for 35 in their head-to-head battle. A swing and a drive. Deep right field. It's got a chance. Gone. 3-run homer. Ian Happ. Cubs lead 3-0. Grounder to short. This could do it. They throw to first, and the Cubs win the ball game 6-3 on the putout. The Cubs win it by a score of 6-0, and there will be a Game 5 Saturday night in Milwaukee between these two teams.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome into another episode of Sports Day. My name is Brant Daughtry. We've got Landon Winkler over in the corner running the cameras, keeping us online, watching up on the video stream. If you want to watch the video stream, you can do so by going to greatbendpost.com, clicking on the Sports tab. When you see the drop-down menu, it'll say Sports News. Click on that, and it should be the first link up there. The Sports Day logo, it should say Friday on Sports Day. In parentheses, it'll say Watch, and from there, you can watch today's episode as well as listen to it. Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College, offering exceptional and affordable learning opportunities, supporting student, community, and employee needs. We'll kick today's show off, as we do every day, with the sounds of the past 24 hours. The New York Giants upset the Philadelphia Eagles last night as Cam Scattaboo ran for 3 touchdowns. Jackson Dart accounted for 2 more himself, 1 through the air and 1 on the ground. And the Giants, behind those 2 rookies, win 34-17. Jalen Hurts also threw his first interception of the seasons. The Eagles' offense has looked so limited this year. This is their first loss. But they're kind of paper tigerish, I think. And they just haven't looked good, man. They haven't looked good in any of their appearances so far this year. They've kind of been winning on the back of that defense, and just kind of doing enough in the run game. But if you can make Philadelphia one-dimensional, I don't know that Jalen Hurts can beat you as just a drop-back quarterback. And that was the Giants' game plan last night. Those 2 rookies are running the ball like crazy. Jackson Dart didn't have a great night statistically, but when you turn on the film, he had he had a lot of really great plays. And, you know, if he can keep growing and if he can get rid of that inconsistency, I think he's going to be really good. And Cam Scattaboo, I mean, he may not play more than 3 years in the NFL, but they're going to be a really exciting 3 years. The dude charges headfirst willingly into every pile. He wants that contact in a way that you just don't see very often. And his body's not going to hold up to that, I don't think. But, man, it's going to be fun to watch while he's available. The Cubs scored 3 on a first-inning homer from Ian Happ in Game 4 of the NLDS. They added on throughout the game and won 6-0. That forces Game 5 tomorrow, and we will have that game for you right here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. NLDS Game 5, Cubs at Brewers. That will start at 6:30. And we'll have that matchup for you on our airwaves. What we won't have is the other NLDS Game 5 because the Phillies and Dodgers played into the 11th, but an error by pitcher Orion Kirkering on an Indy Pages ground ball allowed the winning run to score from third and put the Dodgers through to the NLCS for the 6th time in the last 9 years. I've said it a couple of times during this playoff run. I'm not a fan of the Dodgers, but I'm certainly not a fan of the Phillies. So to see them lose you heard the call on the sounds of the past 24 hours, the most heartbreaking and cruelest way possible. There was a little bit of a sick joy in that for me, I'll be honest. A little bit of schadenfreude. And I had those were really good games, went into the 11th, and just a boneheaded mistake from Orion Kirkering, who had all the time in the world to just throw the ball to first and get the force, and instead tried to go home, had to go quickly to go home. Honestly, I think even a good throw probably does not beat the runner, but the fact that he just threw it to the backstop anyway was, I mean, it just an awful way for a season to come to an end. The Phillies and Mets did not represent the NL East very well in the playoffs, but unlike the Braves, they at least made it. So that's really all you can say. Sports Day today is presented in part by the Marmiato Group on 10th Street in Great Bend, also by Sutherland's, helping you build it better since 1917. From quality lumber, plywood, and OSB to cabinets, plumbing, hardware, and power tools, they have everything you need to get the job done. Visit Sutherland's on 10th Street. Also brought to you by the Barton Cougar Booster Club, continuing their efforts to make the Barton Community College athletics programs the best in the country. We've got to get to our first break. We got a great show for you today. After this break, Zach Bartle, the head coach of Great Bend Girls Tennis, will join us to discuss their WAC tournament performance. They finished in second to go ahead and spoil the conversation, but it was a very close tournament, and Great Bend very much in it until the very end. We'll let Coach Bartle tell you about that. And later on the show, we'll have on Connor Nickel of Sunflower Sports Solutions for our Friday preview of all that's happening around the state in terms of football. That coming up later in the show. You're listening to Sports Day live from the Mayo Money Management Studio right here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. When we come back, Zach Bartle, head coach of Great Bend Girls Tennis, here on Sports Day.
Service from people you know, quality products and professional installation. That's Kern Floor Service. Stop by Kern Floor Service and browse through the different selections of flooring from laminate to vinyl, carpet, wood, and ceramic tile. See their selection of area rugs or special order the one that fits your decor, and don't forget, they can spice up those countertops too. So stop by Kern Floor Service today. Kern Floor Service, 908 Coolidge in Great Bend.
Needing a healthcare plan for your business? Let the experienced team at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your needs. Whether you're a large company or a small business on Main Street, FCMI can help you provide employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. From setup to ongoing support, they handle it all. Schedule your free no-obligation health assessment today at freedomclaimsinc.com. That's Freedom Claims Management Incorporated, with locations in Great Bend, Russell, and Plainville.
Hey, Cougar fans, this is Brant Daughtry, voice of the Barton Cougars. Cheering from the stands is great, but you can give our athletes a true competitive advantage by joining the Cougar Booster Club. Boosters provide the best equipment and facility upgrades, helping Barton athletes succeed at the regional and national level. Whether you're a business or an individual, your support matters. Call 620-792-9377 and become a Cougar Booster today. Go Cougars!
C&E Doors, this is Eddie.
I need some work done.
Are you in a haunted house?
No, it's my garage door. I think I might need a new one.
We can take a look. We can do repairs and replacement. We'll see what's right for you.
What a relief. I thought I was going to get stuck in here.
Call the guys in orange at C&E Doors to fix your haunted house.
C&E Doors, Great Bend. Follow the orange signs just south of 10th and Harrison.
20K Christmas Cash Giveaway. It's brought to you by Cornerstone Automotive and Tire, Mayo Money Management, and Mater Plumbing, Heating and Air, your Bryant dealer, whatever it takes. We are back for another year, and let me tell you, today is the very first Instant Finalist Day. So head on over to greatbendpost.com from 10 until 5 and get yourself qualified to become our very first Instant Finalist. You can check out greatbendpost.com, click the contest page, full calendar, Instant Finalist days, daily registration locations, the rules, the details. All of that information can be found right there. 20K Christmas Cash Giveaway. Today's the date to get yourself signed up to become the very first Instant Finalist. 20K Christmas Cash Giveaway is brought to you by Cornerstone Automotive and Tire, Mayo Money Management, and Mater Plumbing, Heating and Air, your Bryant dealer, whatever it takes.
Welcome back into Sports Day. Brant Daughtry, your host, now joined by Zach Bartle, the head coach of Great Bend High School Tennis. Coach, thanks for taking the time. Tough one for you guys on Monday. Not a bad showing by any means, but unfortunately fell to Dodge City in the WAC tournament by 1 point.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Not a bad showing, but, not the outcome we were hoping for. But it was a nail-biter at the end. It came down to the last match, but really, I don't know. We can say it did that. During the match, it kind of is when it became tied at 10-10. It wasn't when the match started. So I know the girls weren't aware of it, and I wasn't about to tell them. But, yeah, we just missed out.
break down the day for me. What happened and how did your girls perform?
Okay. Yeah, we got there, made the long drive to Liberal, and then when we got there, we found out we had a first-round bye, which would have been, kind of nice to know ahead of time. A lot of times coaches give the courtesy of telling the team that, but you don't have to, but it's nice to know. So we, took our time. We're a little bit disappointed with that. We could have slept in a little bit longer, but we actually got a better warm-up than we would have because we went to the junior college there, Seward County, and had a good warm-up, longer than we would have, and kind of worked on some things that we wouldn't have. So the first round against Liberal, we split with them, which was not ideal, but both matches we lost were matches we'd lost previously in the year. So it wasn't a shocking loss or a bad loss by any means. Then we bounced back against Hayes, second round. We swept them as we should have. Then against Garden City, our doubles won both and our singles lost both. Again, nothing, surprising. We've beat their singles during the year, but we've split with them, so we've lost them too. And then the last round against Dodge, we how did we turn out? I guess our singles won both and our doubles lost both that last round.
So you come in second by 1 point. I talk about this Dodge City team. I mean, we talked about the season that your girls have had so far the last time you were in here, but this Dodge City team seems pretty legit.
Yeah, they weren't on my radar throughout most of the day. Their doubles team just really performed exceptionally well. And their doubles team beat doubles teams. Both of them beat teams they hadn't beat during the year, I think, but they both went undefeated, which I did not see coming. It was a surprise, but I knew the conference would be close, and just one thing here and there goes your way at WAC, and you can come out on top. So
seemed like it was pretty close with the top three. I believe it was Liberal who finished in third. They had 9, 1 point behind you guys. So the top three all within 2 points of each other.
Yeah, the top four going into that last round, any one of 4 teams could have snuck away with WAC. I think Garden City got third by 1 point, and Liberal was 2 points behind them. But so it was, we didn't win WAC, but we beat Garden City for the first time in 9 or 10 years. So that was a nice outcome there.
And Garden City with the player of the year I saw, and Chloe
Patacek.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to take a gamble. But
yeah.
How did she perform, and how did your girls do against her?
Oh, she performed great. She's an exceptional player. She's had an up and down season. She's played doubles pretty much her whole career until this year. I think she might have thought she had a doubles partner this year and just didn't end up coming through. So she kind of had to adjust to singles, physically and mentally. But she's played as well as I've seen her play singles at WAC, and she when they announced her as WAC Player of the Year, it was the third time that she's won WAC as a player. So 2 times in doubles and 1 time in singles. So she had a really good career for Garden City.
So what's next for you guys? What's next on the schedule, and when do the state tournaments start up?
We have regionals this Saturday at Andover, and then state would be the following Friday and Saturday in Topeka.
Who are you expecting to see in Andover?
Well, it's a little bit different regional, so I'll see if I can remember all the teams. We have 3 changes from our previous year's regional, which we'd had 2 or 3 years in a row, which isn't, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of nice to get to know the teams, but it's good to change them around too. The new teams from compared to last year are Andover, who's just the juggernaut. They won state last year, and I think they have a number of state championships in a row. They lost some players, but they just kind of reload there, so they'll be I imagine, the toughest team. We haven't seen them. The other teams we're not as familiar with are Goddard, do not this off the top of my head, and Arc City. So we don't see them much. I still need to try to do a little research. There's probably not going to be much common opponents, but Arc City often has some really good players. Then teams we're more accustomed to seeing at regionals are Salina Central, Salina South, Hayes, and I believe the last team is Hutchinson. So
okay, so we haven't, we're still a little bit of a ways off from this, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. Do you know what the men's team is going to look like this year? Have you begun prepping for that side of things?
Well, I actually am not the head coach for the boys team.
Okay,
but we work together in the summer, so they have a good team coming back. Their top 5 or top 6 are going to be really solid, and I think they could push for a WAC championship there too. Okay.
Yeah, here's me making a fool of myself once again. Eventually I'll learn every duty
That's okay.
that people have, and we'll have the men's team come on when their season starts up. I also learned, as you were coming in here, you have some more duties that you do on Friday nights right now with Great Bend Panther football. Yeah,
I like to help out with a variety of sports, and football's one of them. On Friday nights, I am one of the scoreboard operators, so I won't tell you which one in case you see a mistake. That was not me, for sure.
Absolutely. Whenever something goes wrong, it's someone else's fault, as long as no one knows who all is responsible. Coach, thanks for taking the time to come in today.
You bet.
Absolutely. That's Coach Zach Bartle, head coach of Great Bend Women's Tennis, joining us here on Sports Day. Big thanks to Coach Bartle. Short conversation there. Obviously, I feel like it would have been longer if they had managed to win, but still, coming in second in such a loaded field is still really admirable. They've had a great season, and as they get prepared for regionals tomorrow, sure, they have high expectations, and I think they're going to do really well, and we'll see how they progress. We'll get him in here next week to talk about that as well, since they're coming towards the end of their season. Sports Day today is presented in part by Kern Floor Service. Whether you need a new ceramic, porcelain, or natural stone floors, their knowledgeable and friendly flooring experts are here to help you find the perfect floor for your home decor and budget. Visit Great Bend Showroom at 908 Coolidge to see, touch, and feel the latest styles. Also brought to you by Cody Crook of Red Cedar Land Company. Whether you're looking to sell your land or find the right property to buy, Cody takes pride in understanding your goals and making the process as smooth as possible. Call Cody at 620-617-7320 or visit redcedarland.com. We're going to take our next break. On the other side, probably the longest conversation we've had with Connor Nickel yet. He and I spoke for a good bit about the season so far and what to expect from teams like Great Bend and from Hoisington and how well they're playing. And the rest of the area is still a hotbed, especially in 6- and 8-man football, and what to expect as we move forward in the playoffs. Connor and I went back and forth about that for a good while. So we're going to take an extended break here. When we come back, we'll let you hear that interview. This is Sports Day, live from the Mayo Money Management Studio, right here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Marmy Auto Group makes it happen. Central and Western Kansas. Check out our selection of new and pre-owned inventory. Marmy's friendly staff offers top quality service that you've gotten to know over the years. When your existing vehicle needs parts or service, our experienced team will get you back in the game this season. Marmy Chevrolet, GMC, Ford and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, parts, service, and body shop. Visit Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec.
Sports, leisure, fitness, and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at the Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend or check out the all-new website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Selling your farm or ranch acres can be stressful. At Red Cedar Land Company, they are extremely diverse in the number of ways they can represent you, and they tailor each project to meet their seller's needs. One of the biggest questions for a seller is, what is my land worth? At Red Cedar Land Company, they offer a free market analysis to help you better understand the value of your land. You deserve a better selling experience. Put your trust in Red Cedar Land Company. Call Cody Crook with Red Cedar Land Company at 620-617-7320. This October, the Barton Theater presents Time Stands Still, a powerful drama by Pulitzer Prize winner Donald Margulies. Follow Sarah, a photojournalist recovering from the war in Iraq, and her correspondent boyfriend, James, as they confront love, career, and the search for meaning when the cameras are turned off. Performances run October 16th through 19th. Tickets are $10. This production is recommended for audiences ages 13 and up due to adult language and situations. Visit shows.bartonccc.edu for showtimes and tickets.
Fresh Fruit Friday is back at Sutherland's this Friday, October 10th, with all your favorite deals. Enjoy the changing seasons. Pumpkins are in stock now. Pie pumpkins, $2 each. Jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, $5 each, while supplies last. And it's Fire Safety Month. Home fire extinguishers, only $21.99. Ion smoke alarms, 10-year sealed battery, $21.99. And just in, Milwaukee M12 heated jackets. Sutherland's, West 10th, Great Bend, helping America build it better since 1917.
See any doors? This is Eddie.
I need some work done.
Are you in a haunted house?
No, it's my garage door. I think I might need a new one.
We can take a look. We can do repairs and replacement. We'll see what's right for you.
What a relief. I thought I was going to get stuck in here.
Call the guys in orange at CD Doors to fix your haunted house.
C&D Doors, Great Bend. Follow the orange signs just south of 10th and Harrison.
Hey, Cougar fans, this is Brant Daughtry, voice of the Barton Cougars. Cheering from the stands is great, but you can give our athletes a true competitive advantage by joining the Cougar Booster Club. Boosters provide the best equipment and facility upgrades, helping Barton athletes succeed at the regional and national level. Whether you're a business or an individual, your support matters. Call 620-792-9377 and become a Cougar Booster today. Go Cougars!
Needing a healthcare plan for your business? Let the experienced team at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your needs. Whether you're a large company or a small business on Main Street, FCMI can help you provide employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. From setup to ongoing support, they handle it all. Schedule your free no-obligation health assessment today at freedomclaimsinc.com. That's Freedom Claims Management Incorporated, with locations in Great Bend, Russell, and Plainville.
Service from people you know, quality products and professional installation. That's Kern Floor Service. Stop by Kern Floor Service and browse through the different selections of flooring from laminate to vinyl, carpet, wood, and ceramic tile. See their selection of area rugs or special order the one that fits your decor, and don't forget, they can spice up those countertops too. So stop by Kern Floor Service today. Kern Floor Service, 908 Coolidge in Great Bend.
Welcome back into Sports Day. Brant Daughtry now joined, as we are every Friday, by Connor Nickel of Sunflower Sports Solutions. Connor, thanks for taking the time. How are things in your neck of the woods?
Good. It's a good night for ball, Week 6. It's a really interesting week, I think, in a lot of cases. And so here we go.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll start with what we've got here going on locally. Great Bend against, was it Dodge? It was Dodge City on Friday night. They had a slow start. But as the game went on, they took over 14-0 at halftime, 41-0 final.
Yeah, and, when we had spoke about this game this past week, I kind of felt that Dodge City was going to have trouble scoring. I thought that Great Bend was going to pull away and win in the second half. And obviously, that's kind of what happened. But, yeah, Dodge just has a lot of problems offensively. That's been their case now for 2-3 years. A really emphatic win, and obviously a really high-profile matchup here coming up to tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You touched on it there. Let's go ahead and preview that matchup. Another undefeated Liberal team coming in, 5-0 versus 5-0. Feels like Great Bend is the favorite, but still a program that's used to winning coming up north.
Yeah, so it's been the backdrop of the Redskins the last couple of years has been so interesting. Brian Luter is a guy who I know, comes over from Meade, was involved in the Meade staff for about 8-10 years. His son was the quarterback there. Then he wins a state championship there, and then he obviously goes to the Redskins, has a couple of years of good seasons, and obviously he steps aside at the end of last year and some high-profile things, which I think he made a lot of good points with that, of why he was stepping aside, how some of their school payments and some of those things for their assistant coaches was not maybe fantastic. You can kind of Google that, and there's a lot out there about that. So I think a lot of people this year on how this program was going to be, and obviously, let's just go top line. They're 5-0. The schedule has not been great. They faced a North team that obviously hasn't won a game in a number of years now. A South team that is okay, but below average. Guyman, Oklahoma is generally a struggling team. And then you've beaten Dodge and Garden City by competitive margins. I've been really interested. I was really interested in what they were going to be doing passing-wise because under Coach Brian Luters, they threw the ball a lot. They're doing that a lot again this year. The Cotter kid has put together an exceptional year. They have not ran the ball a lot, but when they have, it's gone well. Tafoya, being the senior, has had a nice year so far. The Cauldron kid, the junior, I think he's a really nice player. They've got several receivers who are nice pieces. My question is tonight, can the Redskins control Great Bend in any capacity up front? And can they stop Great Bend's best players? Again, I think that the Redskins season this year is, hey, you got to give them props for being 5-0 and beating two WAC teams. But their resume is paper-fed. While Great Bend has beaten some quality teams and obviously really handled Dodge City, while the Redskins had a much more competitive game. So I've got Great Bend here by a couple of scores. I would say probably 42-21. I do think their passing game is going to be able to at least do something, but Great Bend I think is just too deep and too strong. And again, when you compare schedules, a little bit of what's the Redskins' most emphatic win, and Great Bend has several that are much stronger.
Just speaking about this Great Bend team, I took a look at their defense this week. They brought in one of their defensive coaches for the show yesterday. And something I've noticed, they have 9 interceptions on the season. I believe their turnover margin is 13-2. That defense is really strong, and it's led to a lot of big wins. All the focus on their offense, but their defense just as good.
Yeah, and, some people forget this. We have this at Sunflower Sports Solutions. They actually led 5A in scoring defense last year. So, this was a number 1 ranked defense in 5A, and I expected them to be top 5 scoring defense this season. I am not honestly surprised at all by how good they have been on that side. You've got Kern and Kern who have had exceptional years. They've been, as you mentioned, incredible at turnover production. Again, 13 turnovers this year so far. I know last year they were good in that category, but maybe not to the extent they are this year. Last year they had 19 turnovers. So 19 turnovers in 10 games. And obviously, as you all know, turnovers can fluctuate on a year-to-year basis. But I truly agree. I truly have thought this, that over a year basis, if you're going really strong in turnovers, you can keep that going throughout the year. That's fairly unsustainable over a 2 or 3 year stretch. But for a 1 year stretch, I mean, you've seen it happen where a team can force 33 to 37 turnovers a year just by how they play and their ball hawking ability. I think that's one of those things that can really catch fire for a team. You've seen some colleges, some pro teams. I think that the Jaguars in the NFL this year have been a team that's really said, hey, we could force a lot of turnovers. Then they force some, and they force some more. And we saw what happened against the Chiefs the other night. So I think it's going to be a trademark of the Great Bend team this season. I do think you're going to see a lot more turnovers forced than last year. And sometimes, and not necessarily the interception, that's the great play. It's what happens in the front end to set that up. Or maybe it's not the first person forcing the fumble, it's the second person coming in, and then it's the person diving on the ball and actually getting that fumble recovery. So I think sometimes we look at turnovers as the one player who does it, but sometimes it's 2, 3, 4 players who really make a key role there.
Hoisington on the road Friday at Cheney. They win 20-6. Connor, that is the biggest win for Hoisington since what?
Well, yeah, I would say, I mean, since a playoff game a couple of years ago, as far as a regular season game is concerned, you could even hazard, you could even go back, and I have not asked Coach Barrett about this, but I'm going to take a guess, since they beat Collegiate, is now, and they've won a lot. I mean, Hoisington has won a lot of games since they beat Collegiate now 8-9 years ago in the regular season. Certainly they've had playoff wins that have been bigger. But, they had that stretch for Hoisington fans who would know, they had that stretch where they played Collegiate, and those were marquee, number one in the state type of games when Collegiate was firing on all cylinders. For them to beat Cheney by two scores, I'm probably forgetting a big regular season game between now and then, but Hoisington hasn't lost in district for a while now. I think for non-conference, non-district wins, it would probably be since those collegiate games, and I believe, if memory serves, those are probably week 2 games. But yeah, those were, those were monster wins, and I think that Cheney win's got to rank right up there.
Talk a little bit about this Hoisington front seven. That's what stands out to me. This is a Cheney offense that is really good. They've got a really good quarterback in the Toller kid, but held him to 6 points, the front seven especially, and Brody Fahnensteel highlighting as well.
Yeah, we talked about Brody Fahnensteel in the summer, the transfer from Russell, athletic, big, rangy, all those things you want, a college type player. And we mentioned last week, Cheney has had this run of quarterbacks that's just been ridiculous. When you go from Harrison Both to Josh Burdick to, of course, Tolar now. And again, a lot of people in Cheney are really high on Tolar. And Cheney is just, they're so well coached and they do things so well. Then you go back even before then, a couple of years, Micah Grover was a first-team All-State quarterback. The run of quarterbacks that Shelby Weirman has had at Cheney has just been ridiculous. And it's been quite some time. They scored 7 points against Collegiate in a regular season game last year, but they have not been held under 7 points in a regular season game since 2022, when of course Andale did that. Sometimes you got to throw out the Andale games, and before then, we're going back to 2018, which was the one blip on Shelby Weirman's seasons when they went 2-7, suffered a lot of the competitive losses. So yeah, for Hoisington to do that, last 7 years, fewest regular season points for Cheney in a non-Andale game. That is really, really impressive.
And up north of us, Hayes gets Dodge City tonight, and we've been talking about it for a while, but it's next week. It's a week from tonight. Great Bend versus Hayes. Of course, both schools have to take care of business tonight, but as fans and as prognosticators, we can look ahead a little bit.
Exactly right. That's going to be the number one game in Kansas next week. I think everybody's really excited for that on so many levels. You've got Gus Corsair, maybe certainly number one lineman in the state for juniors. Obviously, you've got, and then Cooper, who's number one, maybe the recruit for juniors. And then you've got obviously Premer. You've got so many storylines, quarterback-wise. You've got so many things there, and that should just be an exceptional game. And I think it's going to be a game we can dive into significantly next week. But I will say this: whoever can have their style of play hold out is going to win. We could talk about players and things, but can Hayes High give the ball to Holden Lynn 30 times a game and win? And can Great Bend pass the ball to the capability that they want to and win? I think if you're going to go top line, 10 seconds, what is this game about? That's what it's going to come down to on a top line level. Now, there are a ton of storylines beneath that that I think could be really interesting. I mean, somebody for Hayes High can like a Braxton Baskell stand up and play really well. Jarek Purdy, can he play? Can he play really well? Can some of those second tier people from Great Bend, Cale Kern, can those guys step up? Jacob Hall, and can they emerge? But again, next week we'll break all that down. But a bit of a taste of what that game could be.
That's looking at the schedule this week. There are a lot of games between teams with one loss or less than one loss so far this week. What are some of the bigger matchups taking place around the state this week?
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And I'm just going to kind of pinpoint a few because there's a lot of those. I actually had a conversation with somebody about that earlier in the week. I think in the kind of in your still area, the LR, Little River, and El Saline game. This was an incredible playoff game or late season game last year. It came down to the final play of the game. But 8-man Division I, District 3 has LR, Central Plains, and El Saline. All of those three teams are exceptional. And under the old district format, you go back a number of years, one of those teams would not make the postseason, which would just really stink. But now all three of them, certainly should. But yeah, an exceptional matchup. What LR has done this year, I mean, Kevin Ayers, a legendary coach in Kansas, among many other things, only 8-man coach in Kansas to win a state title with three separate schools. Incredible human being. Obviously, his offense this year is really, really cooking. Conan and Garrison, seems like they have a Conan and Garrison every year over there. They have just had an incredible year. The El Saline defense lose to a great Hanover team in week 1 in a competitive game, and then since then they have really been incredibly dominant. You've got Maize South, and Maize, a game that involves, if Maize South wins that, they're going to play a significant role in this 5A seeding. Now, I think Maize wins, but 6A ranked teams winning recently has been a struggle. You've got the Holy War. Of course, Carroll has 2 losses, but you have the Holy War at the Windsurge Stadium, which always is a cool event. I think Chapin is just significantly stronger, but as far as just an environment, that's really neat. The McPherson-Mulvane game is really interesting. I was really high on Mulvane in the summer. I was high on Mac, too. Mac loses to Great Bend in week 1. I thought Mac was going to be much improved this year, and they have shown that they've won 4 straight games, which again shows the quality of that Great Bend week 1 win. And then again, the other one in the Barton County area, Trinity against the Eagles, going to be a really interesting matchup. The Eagles now for a couple of years, they get into their district play, and they just can't seem to get over the hump. Trinity's a good team. They're going to be always really good defensively. That's been the hat they've worn under Coach Bell for a good decade now. Is they're just going to be really great on defense. So they try to kind of win some low-scoring type of games. I can see there's like a 24-12 game tonight, but that's going to be a really interesting game. The Eagles are right on that cusp, and you can feel like, man, they're going to break down that door. Talk to some people about that Sterling game. Now, the consensus was Sterling is just really good. I mean, that Ellenwood's improved, but Sterling is just another stratosphere this year. Again, it's the best Sterling team in probably 40 years. And I think that win said more about Sterling than it did about the Eagles. But yeah, a lot of just really interesting games. The last one I do want to mention is I think that even if La Crosse were to lose tonight, which is expected, I think that if the Leopards can be competitive tonight, that will show them, hey, we can push. I mean, a couple of years ago, they faced Wichita County in the first round of the postseason, and it was incredibly non-competitive. I mean, and I felt so bad for Coach Webster, who I know really well, who's been there for a long time. and it was just a really just tough loss for him to take. I think if lacrosse can be competitive tonight, that will really set them up well here as we go forward.
All right, we're deep enough into the season. We know a little bit about the standings. Take us through the standings in the WAC and the CKL here locally.
Yeah, so obviously the WAC, much to be decided, and obviously I want to give credit to Dustin Armbruster, the Hayes High longtime broadcaster, Hall of Fame broadcaster, who puts this together each week for everybody involved in the WAC. But obviously you're looking at the Redskins at 2-0. You're looking at Great Bend at 1-0. Hayes High, of course, one win and no losses too. So over the next 2 weeks, the WAC title is going to be decided. And the WAC title means so much. There are several conferences, certainly as you go more east. Conference championships don't matter a whole lot due to a variety of reasons. It matters in the WAC. I mean, the WAC title matters. You see schools put up banners for those, put up something on the wall, and really as it should. A conference championship, no matter what the sport is, should always matter, and that's something that's really, really important. Obviously the CKL, sometimes teams don't always play each other. There was some years back when I think it was Hoisington and Halstead were both undefeated, but didn't play each other. This year you've got Haven at 3-0, Hoisington 2-0. Then you've got Heston and Pratt each with a loss. Really impressed with what Haven did this past week, and obviously when they're losing to I believe the Garden Plain by only a point or maybe 2 points. But Haven's put together a really nice year. You could have that wonkiness in the CKL this year when Haven and Hoisington they won't play each other, so they could tie for the lead at the top.
Now, I may be showing my ignorance here. The last question for you, but I asked Gene Manweiler this question driving down to Cheney on Friday night, and he didn't know the answer either. So I'm hoping there are enough people who don't know to justify asking this question. But how does playoff seeding work in Kansas football?
Well, so it depends on the class, and for those who don't know, kpreps.com has an incredible way. They've got, and really honestly, it's better than Keisha. Keisha will oftentimes over the years, they won't say this publicly very often, but they will use what KPreps has. Especially when there's multiple ties and things of that sort. So, it's 5 and 6A and 4A is all based on, your 1 through 8, that's your home games and so on. It's based on the plus 13, minus 13 margin of victory and things of that sort. And I'm going to just briefly run through it here for 5A, which obviously we are, more focused on as I pull it up here. But when you look at the brackets and you look at the seeding there, give me about 5 seconds here, and I'll pull this up. So right now in 5A West, Great Bend is number 1. They're 5-0. They're plus 13 average. Salina Central 5-0, plus 12.4 average, and then the Redskins are 5-0 as well. So, skipping ahead here several weeks, if Great Bend were to win out and be the only 8-0 team, they would be the 1 seed and would have home field advantage throughout the postseason. If them and Salina Central were to both be perfect, obviously they will not play each other, then it would come down to margin points. And so some of those things, and there's just, even at this level, even at that stage of the season, there can be significant change week in and week out, which is why the May South Mays game is so important, because May South has 1 loss, but if they can go 7-1, then they could probably be as high as maybe the 1, but probably the 2. You have 2 losses, 3 losses. You fall in that murkiness of generally 6 through 11. And so that's kind of where that comes in. Now, obviously, with the lower classes, specifically with Hoisington, that comes down to if you win your district, you will have a first-round home game in Week 9 against a number 4 seed from another district. So that's why Hoisington has always put themselves in really good position, because they've won their district and they faced a 4 team from another district. This year it could be a number of teams. I think that maybe Norton, maybe Beloit, maybe somebody else even could factor into that. Still a little murky on that. And then it will go down to home road, east-west. Of course, we call it the Hoisington rule because it got changed a couple of years ago because of what Hoisington went through, where Hoisington and Norton were in the same. They matched up in the semifinals. Several years it was Hoisington and Beloit, and the Hoisington would beat them in district, and then have to play them again in the state semifinals. But Beloit or Norton would host, because the east-west quirkiness of all those things. That rule got changed, and now if you beat a team in your district and you face them again in the state semifinals, if you won the district game, you are the home team for that semifinal game. And there was the famous Norton game in 2020 where the weather was really bad, and Hoisington went up to Norton and lost. I was there. And then Beloit, they beat Beloit, but again, it was at Beloit. So it gets a little quirky and wonky the more you go on. But again, K-Prep's Matt Gilmore. This is his thing. He is a banker, and working with spreadsheets and charts and all that is good. And Keisha actually relies on him sometimes to figure out some of these things.
Connor, thanks so much for the time, man. Go ahead, make the pitch. What's up right now at Sunflower Sports Solutions?
Yeah, so Sunflower Sports just continuing. And sometimes things are done behind the scenes, especially in mid-season, because when you're updating 330 teams, sometimes it just happens where, hey, then we update everything at once. And so continuing to move through with that. And again, we're just the amount of stats that we have behind the scenes that then we make forward-facing, it shows us a lot. I know somebody said to me this week that they were trying to find a reference to a previous year. They found it on there, and they said, thank you. So
awesome. Connor, thanks so much for the time, man. It's always a pleasure.
Hey, certainly, sir. Thanks again.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That is Connor Nickel of Sunflower Sports Solutions joining us here on Sports Day. Big thanks to Connor Nickel. I said it going to the break. I talked about it with Landon during the interview. There is nobody more knowledgeable about the world of sports in the state of Kansas than Connor Nickel, and he is always very gracious with his time and always a fun guy to talk to. He just knows more. He knows more than anybody else. Sunflower Sports Solutions is a great resource as well. And it's always a great time talking to him. Always have fun. Sports Day today is brought to you by Equity Bank. There when you need them. Bank local, save big with in-person banking and business banking. Visit equitybank.com for more information. Equity Bank in Great Bend, Hoisington, and Larned. Also by C&E Doors, your full-service garage door company. Follow the orange signs south of 10th and Harrison. We are about to the end of the show here, but we've got to hit one more break. On the other side of this break, we'll preview tonight. We'll preview the weekend in sports. And we'll have, I don't know, but that may be all the time we have. You're listening to Sports Day, live from the Mayo Money Management Studio right here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Fresh Fruit Friday is back at Sutherland's this Friday, October 10th, with all your favorite deals. Enjoy the changing seasons. Pumpkins are in stock now. Pie pumpkins, $2 each. Jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, $5 each, while supplies last. And it's Fire Safety Month. Home fire extinguishers, only $21.99. Ion smoke alarms, 10-year sealed battery, $21.99. And just in, Milwaukee M12 heated jackets. Sutherland's, West 10th, Great Bend, helping America build it better since 1917.
Selling your farm or ranch acres can be stressful. At Red Cedar Land Company, they are extremely diverse in the number of ways they can represent you, and they tailor each project to meet their seller's needs. One of the biggest questions for a seller is, what is my land worth? At Red Cedar Land Company, they offer a free market analysis to help you better understand the value of your land. You deserve a better selling experience. Put your trust in Red Cedar Land Company. Call Cody Crook with Red Cedar Land Company at 620-617-7320.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec.
Sports, leisure, fitness, and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at the Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend or check out the all-new website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys make it happen.
Barton Community College has college classes that fit your life and your budget. With 5 flexible start dates, Barton Online is perfect for picking up a class or earning your associate's degree at less than half the cost of a university. Study anytime, from anywhere. Save time, save money. Start strong with Barton Online. Ready to take the next step? Visit online.bartoncccc.edu and enroll today.
Welcome back into Sports Day. Final 4 or 5 minutes here on the show. Brant Daughtry here with you. Also, big thanks to Landon Winkler. He's running the cameras. He's running the video feed if you've been watching. All right, what's going on tonight across our airwaves here at Eagle Media Great Bend? Well, first up, the Larned Indians are hosting the Southwestern Heights Mustangs. Both teams winless on the year, looking to get there for... Actually, I think Southwestern Heights has a win. I think they beat Syracuse earlier in the year. Yes, they did. They did beat Syracuse, and I think their second game. Either way, Larned and Southwestern Heights over in Larned. Caden Sanders is filling in for Gary Wagner tonight. He'll be on the call of that one. That's coverage starting at 6:30 for that. I will be on the road tonight. Myself, Gene Manweiler, on the call as the Hoisington Cardinals travel to face off with Lakin. We're leaving in about an hour to make that trip. So that's a road game. You can listen to that one on KHOK 100.7 Eagle Country on our airwaves. Or if you're here local, if you can't make it to the homecoming game, or if you're just in the stadium and want to listen in anyway, Great Bend is hosting Liberal, the Panthers' homecoming here tonight. That game will start at 6:30. We will also have the K-Preps pregame show over on KHOK 100.7 Eagle Country and on B104.3 The Point before Hoisington and Great Bend's pregame show. That will start at 6. Pregame at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7. Brant, you say, I've got no interest in high school football. I want to hear about baseball. Well, we've got baseball too. ALDS Game 5. Winner advances to the ALCS to take on the... Oh, gosh. There's one team already in. Is the Mariners? The Mariners who are already in? I can't remember. No, it's not the Mariners because they're playing tonight. One team's already in. I can't remember who. Anyway, they'll face off Detroit and Seattle playing tonight in the must-win Game 5 of that ALDS over the weekend here. That's right here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. More sports for you over the weekend. On Saturday, we'll be airing the NLDS Game 5, for the Cubs and Brewers. That will start at 6:30 tomorrow. That's Saturday. And on Sunday, we got 2 big ones for you. At noon, we will head to Baltimore for the Rams at the Ravens. That starts at noon. And then we will have ALCS Game 1. That will start at 6:30 also on Sunday. So just a quick recap here. Larned Indians hits 106.9 against the Southwestern Heights Broncos tonight. Starts at 6:30. Pregame starts at 6:30. I'll be on the call of Hoisington at Lakin. That's tonight at 6:30 as well over on KHOK 100.7 Eagle Country. The Great Bend Panthers are hosting Liberal. That game will be over on B104.3 The Point. Mike Hesher on the call. Maybe you've seen Hesh walk back and forth a couple of times in the last segment. But he's been keeping busy, undefeated on undefeated. Look, I think Great Bend wins this game. I think everybody expects Great Bend to win this game. But you can't write anything in stone. Liberal is a program that's 5-0. They like to win. They're used to winning at this point, and they're going to be tough to put away. Sports Day today brought to you by the Great Bend Rec, providing quality leisure, cultural, sports, fitness, and educational programs to improve the quality of the community and the individual lives of their community members. Also by Freedom Claims Management. Let the experienced and dedicated staff at Freedom Claims Management, Inc. customize a health insurance plan that fits your business's needs. Also tonight, Game 5 of the ALDS between the Tigers and the Mariners starts at 6:30. That's here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Tomorrow on 1590 KVGB and on 95.5 FM, same station. We've got NLDS Game 5, Cubs at Brewers, 6:30 on Sunday. It's the Rams and Ravens at noon. Once that goes off, we will flip it back to ESPN Radio. Then at 6:30, we flip it back over to baseball, ALCS Game 1 between the winner of Detroit and Seattle and the team that I cannot remember who's already won that series. That's all we got for you today. Big thanks to Zach Bartle, the head coach of Great Bend Girls Tennis, for coming on the show. Big thanks to Connor Nickel of Sunflower Sports Solutions. Big thanks to Landon Winkler for running the production for today's show. Big thanks to you for watching and listening. I'm Brant Daughtry. Thanks for having me. We'll see you all again on Monday. Enjoy the Friday night, folks.